Hello grandchildren. I welcome you to the new Valheim video, and I am very glad that you stopped by to see me. As you already know, today there will be a very global video on the restructuring of my entire base. Behind me are new subscribers and channel commentators, and if you want to be on this wall as well, be sure to be active in the comments. Take a seat, grandchildren, we are starting. Let's start with the construction of an automatic wood and stone farm, because for today's buildings we will need a lot of resources. To be honest, it's very boring to get it all on my own, so I decided to fence off the spawner and equip it so that the gay fruits that appear fall into the fire and burn almost instantly, bringing me wood, stones, resin, eyes and trophies. In order to equip this spawner, I need a stone cutter. However, to create it, I need iron ingots, which I cannot drag through the portal. Therefore, I decided to find a swamp on this island in order to find scrap here and melt it down in the future. But the swamp turned out to be very small and without crypts. Using Google, I found out that here you can meet user, killing which you can get iron scrap from him. I wandered in this little swamp for about 20 minutes and I only got one slug of the very first level from which nothing fell out, but later I was lucky and I met user with 1 star from which just 2 iron scraps fell out, which I needed. And when I got home to get Surtling cores and stones for the smelter, I remembered that I have serpent scales and chitin, which can be used to make something interesting. That's why I decided to make a chitin knife, a harpoon and a shield. Of these items, I really like the knife and shield. The knife does massive amounts of damage in the back and when staggered, and the shield knocks enemies back very far when blocking. Although he does not parry attacks, he is really good at defending. But as for the harpoon, I still haven't figured out where it can be used, so I will be very happy if you write in the comments why this harpoon is needed at all. Having melted down 2 pieces of iron, I go to my new spawner in order to equip it. I collect some wood and running to the place, I set up a workbench and a stone cutter and start digging the earth around the spawner. And when I have done all the main work, I put chests in which I will put wood and stones. For the arrangement of the spawner, I will need a lot of stones, despite the fact that there are a lot of them lying down now. Now I'm leveling the territory to make it easier to build and put hearths so that the gay fruits don't touch me, but simply burn out when they get there. Well, I'm starting to build a stone floor for convenience. This is how the spawner and its arrangement turned out. In the future, I will change it a bit due to small problems, but in general, the spawner is completely ready and functions perfectly. I put here chests, a workbench, a stone cutter and a portal to quickly move items to the base. I like everything very much, but I know that my spawner can easily be broken by trolls. Therefore, I take tools, a bunch of stones and go to create an artificial wall from the earth in order to isolate myself from the outside world, and completely ignore all the enemies who will try to attack me. Spoiler: this will happen to me very often while I'm sitting AFK, trolls, swamp creatures and other mobs will want to finish me, but thanks to this wall, absolutely nothing will come of them. I spent almost the whole day sitting AFK and collecting resources. I had practically nothing to do. I was doing my household chores and only occasionally came up and repaired the hearths and filled them with wood. In addition, when the trolls attacked me, I decided to get some corewood and other resources with it. Because I myself was very tired of grinding, and with the help of such a free worker in 15 minutes I managed to collect a whole bunch of resources. And after I transferred all these resources home using the portal, I began to prepare for the battle with the 3rd boss. I decided to make some ooze bombs, but I understand that this is unlikely to work for those who live in swamps, so I'll leave them for the future. I also make a very cool soup with serpent meat, which adds 80 health and gives 4 HP tick. This is a really cool soup. After that, I smelted another part of the iron that I had, but I won't smelt everything because I will need wood for buildings, but the iron will last me for a very long time. By the way, this is the amount that was melted down, and now I really don't know where to spend it. It's probably worth improving all your weapons and equipment, so now I'll do it. Besides, I make an iron pickaxe and improve it. In the mountains it will still be very useful to me. Done. Also, before the boss fight, I decide to make some fire arrows, but they will not be useful to me at all. Then we put a workbench, build a medium ship and set off. I didn't bring the Draka here, because I don't have to sail far and carve is quite enough. And by the way, while I was sailing to the third Bonemass boss, I came across a Leviathan in the ocean and got some chitin to upgrade my knife and maybe a harpoon if needed. When I sailed to the island with the boss, the first thing I did was set up a workbench and a portal so that I could easily return in case I died. And I went to kill the local inhabitants. With a new club it was very easy for me, so I'm glad I did it. I returned home, took the withered bones for summon, and again returned to the swamps through the portal. Along the way, when I was doing household chores, I managed to bring home 2 wild boars. I wanted to do this at the very end, but I was very lucky and I found a 2-star boar in a clearing near the house and brought it here. But more on that at the very end. For now let them tame and breed. It's time to summon the boss. Let's go. Wow, this is amazing. I almost instantly realized that the bow against this guy is useless and you need to get closer to him and beat him with a mace. The first attack of the boss is throwing balls from which blobs and skeletons appear. There should be no problems with them. The second attack is a normal attack and is not hard to dodge. I'll try to beat him with a mace. She deals very good damage and Bonemass has a vulnerability to her, and this is only in my favor. The third attack is a vomit of green goo that poisons for a while. However, if you drink mead, poison resistance, this attack does not pose a danger to me, so you cannot be afraid of it. Let's fight. I had 1 heal point left. It was very close. Being distracted by mobs, I get hit and die. All the same, this attack with throwing balls is not so chewy and useless. I will be more careful in the future. I can deal damage with ease. Without a mace, it would be very difficult for me, but with such a weapon in my arsenal, fighting is quite simple, so I decide to give Bonemass a chance. I want to try to finish him off with my bare hands, so I will try to do it. And if I die, there will be nothing bad, because now the skills do not drain on death. All the same, I am dying again, but I will not stop there and will finish him off with my bare hands. Great, that's over with. Now there is one less thrasher again in this world. We get a trophy and wisp-on from this guy. As far as I understand, with the help of this contraption, we can find valuable items in the ground. The next location that we need to visit is the mountains. That's where the wishbone will come in handy. When I was returning home, a serpent attacked me. For me, this is not a problem. Besides, the soup from this snake turns out to be very tasty and healthy. I am very lucky today. First a 2-star boar, now 2 serpents in a row. It's really cool, I'm glad. I want to try and lure them closer to the shore so I don't lose the scales and improve my new shield. My ship was practically broken, so I will give up the scales and will be content with only meat. And my luck did not last long, because I lost one serpent and he sailed away somewhere. We kill him, take the meat and return home to finally engage in construction and buildings. The first thing I would like to do is rebuild our workshop a bit. In general, everything suits me, especially in appearance. This is my best building now. But I am very uncomfortable using chests when I want to create something. I have to walk from one end of the room to the other, which is very inconvenient. In addition, these chests have very few item slots, so I want to replace them with iron ones. How can this be implemented? Everything in Genius is simple, so I will put a workbench and a forge in the center of the room, and above them I will make a small extension, inside of which I can place chests. And empty spaces are useful for arranging improvements and decorations. This construction is improvisation. I don't stick to any plan, but create it all through trial and error. We place the first 2 chests. This is not enough, so I will add 2 more. In the middle, I will not make partitions so that they do not interfere with the use of a workbench and a forge. We lay out all the resources in their new places. And we arrange improvements for the workbench and forge. Done, looks cool to me, now it's easy to use. Later I will add a couple of decorations, but for now let's proceed to the next point of our global construction. By the way, during this time, wild boars were completely tamed and became domesticated. And they even got little piggies. One of them is 2-star, so I will definitely leave it. Well, as I said earlier, this will be waiting for us at the very end, but for now let's start building. This will be some kind of parking lot for carts. I have several of them, so behind the workshop I will make a small separate annex with a roof, in which I will park my carts and take them from here if I need them. Looks really good, I like it. The next thing I want to do is expand the warehouse. I have it already quite roomy, but now I have the opportunity to place iron chests, so why not use it? I want to completely fill the empty spaces with chests, both regular wood and iron, add signs to indicate each resource, and sort it all out and put it in its place. Great, finished with the warehouse upgrade. I put in new standing iron torches, hung signs everywhere and sorted all the items. In the future, our warehouse will be replenished, but as for the appearance, it does not matter at all. The main thing is compactness and functionality. It doesn't matter what you look like on the outside, what matters is what you are on the inside. Now it's time for our kitchen. After grinding in the swamps, the chests are just overflowing with various ingredients. I'm going to place new iron chests, and just like in the warehouse, sort everything out and make a beautiful and comfortable kitchen. This is how it all looks, then I will definitely finalize the kitchen and add decorations. I am completely out of fine wood, so I take my axes, resources to the portal and go on a little trip. At the same time I want to check the unexplored lands on my island, maybe I will find a mountain there. At the same time, I stop by the place where you need to hang the trophies of the bosses. And I hang the Bonemass head on a hook. A very good buff, perhaps even better than Icta, so I'll take it for myself. While I was wandering through the forest, I came across a mountain, which the last time I did not dare to explore due to the lack of frost resistance mead. But now I decide to climb this mountain and see what is interesting here. This mountain is very small and there is absolutely nothing here. Only stones that I saw, trees that I also saw. The only interesting thing is the snow, there is nothing else at all. It was absolutely the same story with swamps. I also initially found small swamps without crypts, but then I was very lucky and I found just a giant swamp biome. I hope the mountains do the same. I should probably look for a better mountain, but for now I continue my journey. Wishbone started working. This means that somewhere nearby are jewels. It's just gold and ruby. I have a whole bunch of them at home. Thank you, by the way, for explaining why this is all necessary. In the next episode, I will travel a lot and find a guy named Halder. It looks like I can give him all the amber, rubies, and other gems in exchange for gold or something. Home sweet home. In the kitchen, I decided to put a stone hearth instead of a regular fire. This way the kitchen looks much prettier. Besides, you can place cauldron, an iron cooking station, and ordinary cooking stations here. All resources are in place, so now it's time to build the main house. The only requirement for him is the maximum possible comfort and nothing more. Naturally, I will try to make everything beautiful. I will build a house not from ordinary and standard walls, but from corewood. Laying the logs one by one, I will try to make a real log house. I will start construction from the foundation, no matter how trite it may sound, and gradually I will go higher and higher until I build the house completely. The easiest behind. Now let's start laying logs. The most important thing in this matter is to lay everything correctly so that there is a correct binding and everything converges everywhere. This is necessary so that there are no problems with the roof, floor, and indeed with the whole house. The first row is ready. Now I will put up the pillars. Some are corner and some are window frames. Well, I keep building walls. I am building a stone staircase. Next, instead of the usual stone floor, in the main room I make a wooden floor with different directions of the boards to make it look more interesting. Next, I divide the rooms into two parts and continue building. At some point I thought that I had run out of corewood, so I went to the Black Forest to cut pines. But as it turned out later, I had a chest full of this tree and I could not go anywhere. But it may be useful for some other buildings. And after I got the corewood, having all these resources, I continue to build my house. Having built all the walls completely, it remains to do the most difficult. Roof. I'll start with the beams that will hold it. After a huge amount of time, I finally did what I originally wanted. 90% of the time I was just trying to figure out how to get it right and with binding. As a result, I had to figure out many things regarding the construction, and here it is the result. Now I will build a structure for the roof. Simply put, a skeleton, which I will make of ordinary wood. Having completed the foundation of the roof, I begin to deal with the roof. The biggest problems I had were in the corner of my house, namely at the intersection of two rooms. But after spending a lot of time, I figured everything out and soon I will finish. The roof is finished, which means that the frame of the main house is completed. It remains quite a bit to tweak the small details, and you can fill the house with various cool decorations. And you also need to fix it, because of the rain it looks extremely bad. I have completely repaired the house, corrected some of the jams on the roof, added details, built the ceiling, and now you can start decorating furniture and decorations. The first thing I did was half. Later I'll convert it into a fireplace and make a chimney on the roof, but for now it's just half. The main house has already been adapted for housing and I can sleep in it, so I am demolishing the old, initial house, because now I simply don't need it. Farewell my home, you served me faithfully. Thank you for not letting me become a bum. I will not forget you. I was decorating my room when suddenly there's a smell of sulfur in the air. At first, I was very scared because I was afraid of some fire-breathing dragon that would fly in and burn my entire village. But it turned out to be Surtlings, so it's okay. Having dealt with the Surtlings, I returned to finish building the house. And after an enormous amount of time, I finally completed my main room, almost completed an additional room. I built a fireplace and ran a chimney, put a bunch of decorations in this room, which is what you are watching now. I also added some details in the kitchen, made a grill outside, and got myself a pet. And a lot of different little things, so just look. Here is another additional room with a workbench, a stone cutter, and a forge. Later I will add even more details. Here is the same fireplace that I managed to make. It is supported by metal beams inside, because without them, stone blocks simply break. And here is my pet. I thought it would be much more difficult to bring him here, but it turned out to be quite easy. Suggest a name for this boy in the comments, I will definitely look and choose some name for him. Now it's time to build a boar farm. When they were in a temporary pen, more than 5 boars did not breed, and I sometimes had to kill them. But I want to make a fully automatic meat farm so that there are a lot of boars, so I decided to bypass this game limitation. I'm going to make a high-altitude hutch for these boars so that they feed at the top, but the piggies fall down. Let's start. Here's the build I've been able to build. Now I need to push the boars to the very top with the help of this roof. Great, they are both at the top, now you need to fix it a little, after which you can continue. The The boar house is ready. So far it doesn't know whether this system works or not. We can check in the next episode, and suddenly something is wrong. I'll definitely fix it. Now the latest building for today is the portal hub. For now, I will make it not quite beautiful and not quite comfortable. It will simply be a platform with a roof and portals. Perhaps in the future, when I have much more portals, I will make a full-fledged and very convenient interchange. For now, this will be enough for me. And now that I have finished my small homework to improve my base, a garden, bees, flower beds, and paths and so on, I propose to look again at what came out of it. Well, you grandchildren, I thank you for watching. I hug everyone. By the way, I created a Patreon account, so you can support me if you want. See you soon, grandchildren.